How's it going, everyone? Baby Dragon 40 here, coming at you guys with episode 2 of How to Play Mermails 101. And the cards we'll be featuring today are Mermail Abyss Diaz, Mermail Abyss Pike, and Mermail Abyss Gun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So to start things off, we're going to go ahead and talk about Mermail Abyss Diaz. So Mermail Abyss Diaz is a beautiful ultimate rare that came out of Cosmo Blazer. It is a level 7 water aqua monster with 1700 attack and 2400 defense. So the first thing I do want to point out is that Abyss Diaz actually did receive an errata in the set Shadows in Valhalla. So let's go ahead and read both card effects to see what changes were made. So to start things off, the original one says you can discard one other water monster to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. When you do, add one level 4 or lower Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Mermail Abyss Diaz once per turn. And let's go ahead and read the updated version. You can discard one other water monster to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. When special summoned this way, you can add one level 4 lower Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect of Mermail Abyss Diaz once per turn. Alright, so let's go ahead and break it down step by step. So the first effect of discarding a water monster to the graveyard to special summon this card from your hand is an ignition effect, and discarding the water monster to the graveyard is a cost. So that is exactly the same as how Mermail Abyss Megalo works. So it is the same in both cards. The first effect did not change. The change comes to the second effect. If you notice in the original one, it says when you do add a level 4 lower Mermail monster, which means originally it was a mandatory effect, as opposed to the errata version where it says when summoned this way you can add a level 4 or lower Mermail monsters. So it is now an optional effect and no longer a mandatory effect. So how would this affect the card itself? So originally, when discarding a card, for example, like Atlantean Marksman, to go ahead and activate Taste effect to special summon itself, they were both mandatory effects. So Marksman and Abyss Diaz are mandatory effects. So you could choose to form the chain in any order of your choice. So you could chain block your opponent from cards like Ash Blossom. However, since Taste is now an optional effect, the chain can only be built in the following order: mandatory effects first, followed by optional effects. Tails would be Chainlink 2 and Marksman would be Chainlink 1, now making your Tails acceptable to Ash Blossom because you can no longer choose the order of the chain. So as you can see, this did weaken Tails just a little bit, not too much, but it does maybe impact the way that you want to play him. Alright guys, so up next we're gonna go ahead and talk about Mermail Abyss Gun. So Mermail Abyss Gun is a level 3 water aqua type monster with 1400 attack and 800 defense, and its effect states if this card is discarded to the graveyard, you can target one Mermail monster in your graveyard except Mermail Abyss Gun. Special summon that target. You can only use the effect of Mermail Abyss Gun once per turn. So to start off, its effect is an optional effect because it says you can target a Mermail monster. Second, if multiple copies of Gun were discarded, let's say for example with Mermail Abyss Megalo, you discarded 2 guns, only one of the guns will get their effect because it is a hard once per turn effect. Second, the effect of Abyss Gun can be activated even if it is discarded to the graveyard as a cost or by card effect. So it resembles more of the Dangers who get their effects if discarded by cost, as opposed to the Dark Worlds who would not get their effects. A perfect example of this would be when it comes to Swamp Frog. So if you read Swamp Frog's first part of the effect, it says you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding one other water monster. So if Gun would be discarded to special summon Swamp Frog, you can activate Gun's effect to special summon a Mermail from the graveyard. As opposed to Atlanteans like Marksman, Infantry, and Dragoons, they will not be able to activate their effects. The reasoning behind this is that Swamp Frog's effect to summon itself is a summoning condition and not an effect actually activating. And if you read cards like Marksman, for example, it says when this card is sent to the graveyard to activate a water monster effect. So it says specifically just activate. And Swamp Frog's effect is not activating. Like I said, it is a summoning condition. As opposed with Mermail Abyss Gun, the only thing that has to happen for Gun's effect to activate is if it's discarded. See, it says if this card is discarded to the graveyard. So it doesn't have to be necessarily to activate an effect. As long as it's discarded to the graveyard, its effect can resolve. So that is a scenario where Abyss Gun comes in handy. However, a scenario where it doesn't come as in handy is when it comes to cards like Mermail Abyssalacia. So if you read Abyssalacia's effect right here, it says during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So Abyssalacia specifically says send, and Gun's effect will only activate if it's discarded. Remember, sending and discarding are two different things. Okay, so that wraps up pretty much Gun's effect. Pretty self-explanatory. Alright guys, and the last card that we're going to talk about today is going to be Mermail Abyss Pike. So let's go ahead and read Abyss Pike. Abyss Pike is a level 4 water fish monster with 1600 attack and 800 defense. And its effect states, when this card is normal or special summon, you can discard one water monster to the graveyard to add one level 3 water monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect on Mermail Abyss Pike once per turn. So the effect to add a level 3 water monster from the deck to the hand does not target a card, and discarding a water monster is a cost. So it's exactly the same as Abyss Megalo and Teus, where it is a cost. The difference where it comes to cards like Abyss, Teus, and Megalo is that Pike does not build a chain. It forms separate chain links. So to break it down, what this means is, let's see, you go ahead and normal summon the Abyss Pike and activate effect to pitch. Let's say you pitch an Atlantean Marksman. Pike will then proceed to resolve, searching for the level 3 water monster. Letting Pike resolve means that the summon response window has closed, and Marksman now starts a new chain after Pike has finished resolving. Marksman will then activate in the graveyard, selecting an appropriate target, then resolving to destroy said target. In other words, so how this would happen, so you normal summon Pike. Pike will then go ahead and pitch Marksman to add a level 3 water. Let's say you go ahead and add the gun to your hand. Pike has now finished resolving, new chain link. Marksman will then go ahead and select appropriate target on my opponent's side of the field and activate the effect to go ahead and destroy that target. Alright guys, so brings a conclusion to episode 2 of how to play Mermails 101. I really do hope that this series is helping those of you new and trying to learn how to play the deck. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if there are other scenarios that you can think of that can help others out or that have happened to you in the past. Let me know if you guys are enjoying this series, if it is helping you guys out. Don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying this content, and last but not least, subscribe to the channel. I do enjoy bringing you guys this content. Mermails are one of my favorite decks, and I really do hope you guys are enjoying these kinds of videos. And Baby Dragon 48 out, guys. Have a nice day.